How did you find out your daughter was dyslexic?
It was such a long journey. It wasn't possibly the normal journey, but actually I think it was very normal as well, because I've heard our story over and over again with parents that I know. It was a really slow burner. First of all, I started in year 2 with Lucia coming home crying and saying that she'd been teased in class for not getting things right, and the real crux of it came when they were doing telling the time in class, and that was something that she really, really struggled with, telling the time. And they'd done o'clock and 1:30, and she was obviously being asked a simple question, the teacher thought, and said, "What's the time on this clock, Lucia?" And she said, "It's 1:30. And she thought she was really doing well, but of course she'd muddled the hands and everyone laughed at her, and then she went out into the playground and they carried on. So at that point, that's when I went into school and said, I don't think something's, quite right. She just doesn't seem to be getting the reading, and, what can we do to help? But it went on and on and on after that. I had a particularly defensive head teacher who just didn't seem to want to help get to the bottom of what was going on, and really made me feel like a paranoid parent, and that I was just being fussy, and really I just needed to back off. And I couldn't, because my daughter couldn't read, and she was very unhappy, and it was progressively getting more unhappy. And the child that had gone into school absolutely buzzing, couldn't wait to put that uniform on the first day, and was going, "Yay, come on mummy, let's go," and was running in the gate, was coming out of the gate looking dead. And I remember saying to my husband, "It's like she's got dead eyes." And it was shocking to see how much she was changing over the years. But I kept asking and asking for assessments to be done and for things to be found out. But in the end, I had to actually write to the head of the psychology department at our local council to actually get him to contact the school to make sure that something happened. And even after that, it was a real roller coaster, because things that should have been done weren't done. They were said they had been done and they hadn't been done. And eventually, we finally got a specialist teacher in who said that my daughter had dyslexic tendencies, but they never actually really talked to us about the extent of it or what that meant. And it really came down to me as a parent to find out everything that I could. And of course, because I was in education myself, I had the capacity and the knowledge to know where to look, but most parents just don't.
What effect did it have on you as a parent?
It was really hard, and I look back and I think as a parent, you really try and do the right things, but at times you don't. And I remember getting really frustrated with Lucia, especially with reading. And we'd be reading a book and I'd really be trying, and she would have read a simple word like "the," and then literally within the next sentence she wouldn't be able to. And I go, "For goodness sake, Lucia, you've just read that word. How can you not know what it is?" And I didn't understand dyslexia then. And I didn't understand why that would be. And I just got angry with her. And sometimes I got really angry with her. And, she'd end up crying and I'd end up crying, and it was horrible. But we didn't have any support or any guidance to know, that's okay, don't worry about the fact that she doesn't know that. This is what we're going to do about it. It's an abstract word, she's not got it in her mind yet, don't worry. Didn't have any of that. So I did get really frustrated with her. And of course that probably added to her going down. It wasn't just the school situation that she was losing her self-esteem. I tried to be as good as I could, and I was fairly patient But there were times when she would have known, obviously that Mum's frustrated with me. That's horrible. That's horrible, and it shouldn't really happen, because the pressure is so much on parents now with homework. They have to be reading every night. They have to be doing these horrendous spelling lists. They have to be, doing all of this stuff. And I remember, having to write several times to school saying, why is she being expected to learn the word specialise when she can't even read yet?